Tonight on News 5 Live, bus fares to increase, most COVID restrictions to be removed by April 1st. Prime Minister excited by royal visit, but one southern village is pulling up the welcome mat. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Our life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Las tradiciones son atemporales, pero mantenerse al día es necesario. DigiWallet me permitirá hacer todas mis compras favoritas. Es fácil y seguro. Solo es agregar dinero a mi DigiWallet y ya puedo irme de compras en mis tiendas locales favoritas. Oye tú, a mi familia le encanta. A mí también. Es nuestra nueva tradición. DigiWallet, próximamente.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this Smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, Belize! Vaccination saves lives.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, March 18th. I am Sabrina Daly. Members of the royal family have, from time to time, come under scrutiny, and there are some Belizeans who associate them with colonialism and the fraught history that accompanied it. Some residents of one village where the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are scheduled to visit this weekend staged a protest today, saying they do not want them there. News 5's Marian Ali has the story.
We are facing the reality of colonial injustice, colonial legacy. Again, as I mentioned, for those Belizeans out there that say, well, they're ungrateful for the opportunity, we want to make it clear. Our lives remain the same way if he come or does not come to Indian Creek.
What these villagers of Indian Creek in Toledo are upset about is that Prince William will visit the Acte Ilha cacao farm and the family who established that farm in 2001. It is supported by the Yakche Conservation Trust, and Yakche are partners in Belize of Flora and Fauna International, a non-governmental organization with whom the village has a land dispute. First Alcalde of Indian Creek, Mateo Chub, told News 5 today that it is colonial rule that has made life for many people difficult.
This, we have to understand, is still the colonial legacy. The colonial legacy is that Prince William, and a patron of FFI, who we have a direct dispute with lands here, that would be the message. It's like we're still, some other people of Indian Creek, we are still suffering from the injustice of the colonial legacy. And much worse, directly it impacts us because he is now a patron of FFI, which simply means he's the one sending the money for people to for rangers to restrict access to the use of the land that we have in dispute with. So that is where Prince William comes into the picture.
The Minister of Rural Development, Oscar Requena, who is also the area representative for Toledo West, where Indian Creek is located, said he can understand the issues that the community has raised.
Indian Creek certainly has concerns with regards to the adjacent lands. They are lands that they have been using for farming, lands where they go in and hunt, lands where they go in and get materials to build their homes. And certainly, as you're aware, it's a very large tract of land. I think it's about 13,000 acres of land. And the community is very much concerned that that's where they do their livelihood. I must clarify, though, that my understanding is that it's private land, and what has to happen is that the parties have to come together. The community is in need of additional land to be able to expand, and I believe that the only way to work it is that the company or the private owners that own those lands have to take those things into account.
What makes matters worse, Chub says, is that they will be kept away from the royal couple, so they will not be able to let them know of their discontent. And what has made it worse is that his helicopter is scheduled to land on their football field.
That the landing at the helicopter, let me give you an example anyway.
Yes.
If I go if I go and park my vehicle or go in your yard without I notify you, feel that you feel something that? That's what the villagers they are feeling.
From Indian Creek, the Duke and Duchess will move on to Hopkins Village. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Meanwhile, the United Black Association for Development Educational Foundation has issued a press release saying the Queen and her heirs, quote, have the face abras fukona Belize no, unquote. The association also claims the government of Belize is, quote, complicit in re-traumatizing African Belizeans by endorsing their visit, unquote. We also heard from Prime Minister John Briceño on the royal visit. As the government of Belize prepares to welcome our special guests, the PM says their Royal Highnesses chose to have a unique cultural experience in Belize as their first stop on this royal tour.
It's quite exciting for everybody that His Royal Highness and his wife chose to start their tour in Belize, and they are quite excited about having a first look and a close look to Belize, not only to our natural wonders, the sea, but even them going into the communities themselves and to have probably a close understanding as to the dynamics of Belize, as how is it that we are so unique, so small but so diverse.
Renowned Belizean chef Sean Quillen is bringing his passion for authentic Belizean culture and cuisine to the royals. Chef Quillen will be the head chef during their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's visit to Belize. After their official arrival at the PGIA on Saturday, they are expected to go into meetings with the Prime Minister. On Sunday, Chef Quillen will be leading a cultural and culinary presentation of both the Maya and Garifuna cultures. And then on Monday, Chef Quillen and his team will be putting on a Maya food and cultural celebration in the heart of San Ignacio. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Catherine, are on their way to Belize on behalf of Her Majesty, the Queen, on the occasion of the Platinum Jubilee. Renowned Belizean chef Sean Quillen will be preparing a cultural and culinary experience for the royals. He says it will be unlike anything else they find in the Caribbean.
It's only been my life's work, not really too long, like 15 years. I went to culinary school in San Francisco in California, and I learned French cuisine and all of that, by the book, by textbook. And then I worked in the Caribbean, and I came home to Belize. And when I came home, I realized that we have so much cultures in this country, right? So why am I cooking with strawberries and asparagus and all these things that the French would have in a cookbook? So from that point on, I went on a mission, a personal mission, to cook all local food. I even tattoo my hand with a no barcode, because when I cook, I don't cook with barcodes, because if you eat an apple around Christmas time, you can at least stick up on it. But we want planting in this country, we grab it from the tree, you don't got no bloody stick up on it.
Sean says his menu will be 100% authentic Belizean.
They decided that they will do the south and the west of this country, which I consider to be very beautiful. And if I bias, I would say the south is the most beautiful part. But what it shows you, when I'm writing a menu, if they didn't choose San Pedro, and I love San Pedro, but leave it to modern. I mean, they just left London or a developed place, so they want something indigenous. They want to go backward. So writing a menu, I have to do the same. Gone are the days that a nice diplomat come to this country and you serve them salmon and asparagus. Now, if I'm involved, once I'm alive and I'm asked to write this menu, I will do it culturally and find a path.
One of the first stops will be in the heart of San Ignacio in the Cayo district. There, William and Kate will be treated to a royal banquet featuring dishes from 3 Mayan groups: the Mopan, the Quechua, and the Yucatec Maya.
Naturally handmade tortillas live. In the Cayo district, we have cattle, we have pigs, so we're going to have 2 whole pigs, 14 hours. I'm going to juice that up, marinate that up. You put the anato because that's our special marinade in Belize. 14 hours, carve that live. You make your thing there with that. We move on to Yucatec, relleno blanco. A lot of people we only eat that once a year in this country for Christmas. Saffron, capers, olives, almonds, stuffed in the cavity of a chicken. You have to be a yard fowl too, right? Swimming in a broth of white recado. Now we're doing a dish called brazo de reina. So you take the boot that you think you're putting in the black recado, black relleno, right? You take that, you wrap that up with some masa, and you put chai in that, and then it's like a roulade, you slice it. We're going to put like a tomato sauce, like where the Creole put in and a bailop.
Garifuna culture and cuisine in southern Belize will of course be another highlight feature on this country tour for William and Kate.
Garifuna, of course, Garifuna drummers, Wanaragua, which is Jankuno, the combination, the hugu. And everything condensed to like 30 minutes. But again, my only thing, and I'm honored that you select me as to do this for Belize, but my thing is that when we hear that somebody specially come, we hurry want to take the house and paint it, and we hurry want to put cement, and I have to tell these people, stop, don't do that, don't paint the house because it's authentic. I want it like how you made it live. Not go put current, not go put light. I want the hana, I want the ruguma, and that is my biggest challenge, to make sure we represent ourselves authentically.
The royals will depart from Belize on Tuesday to continue their tour in Jamaica and the Bahamas. Chef Quillen challenges his Caribbean brothers and sisters to top what Belize has to offer.
Let me apologize to the other Caribbean countries one time. Because when they're done with Belize, they're going to Bahamas, they're going to Jamaica. And I'm really sorry for Uno, because you see, for Uno country, beautiful and everything, but a one island. We got one cuisine and one people. We the Belize, we are Central America, we're Caribbean, we're a melting pot, we got everything. Now, again, you see, when I tell you that in Econ, I have to dictate my menu by a culture. You may have jerk and you may have this, but we have Creole, Yucatec, Maya, Quechua, Garifuna. Look here, we not stop, and that's the beauty about Belize, right?
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Could Key-Cocker end up in the Fort George Division? It may, and so could another key community. Details when we return. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, He said unto me, Son of man, have you seen what the elders of the house of Israel are doing in the darkness? Each at the shrine of his own idol. They say, the Lord does not see us. A burglar broke into a house one night and shined his flashlight around looking for valuables. He saw this CD player and reached down to pick it up. When he heard this strange, disembodied voice saying, Jesus is watching you, he nearly jumped out of his skin. He quickly turned his flashlight off and froze. When he heard nothing, he sought to disconnect the wires from the stereo, and again he heard this voice say, Jesus is watching you. Freaked out, he turned his flashlight toward the voice, frantically searching for the source. There in the corner, his light rested upon a parrot. Did you say that? He hissed at the parrot. Yep, the parrot confessed, then squawked, I'm just trying to warn you. The burglar relaxed. Warn me, huh? Who in the world are you? Moses, replied the bird. Moses, the burglar laughed. What kind of a people would name a bird Moses? The parrot responded, the kind of people that would name a Rottweiler Jesus. Some of the servants in the temple at Jerusalem became engaged in wicked acts of darkness and the worship even of pornographic images and idols. Their defense was, the Lord does not see us. The Bible says the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. So be careful what you do. Jesus is watching you. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
While you cannot prevent accidents from happening, you can take steps to protect yourself from the financial burden that can result from an accident. Orphan Life Insurance Personal Accident Plan is the solution for you. With our personal accident plan, you are covered anywhere in the world. This plan pays out a benefit for any dismemberment as the benefit is paid directly to you. It can also cover the need for medical artificial appliances such as wheelchair, crutches, hearing aid, and prosthetics. In the event life is lost due to an accident, the personal accident plan pays out the insured amount to the beneficiaries. Now, you can live with the confidence that we have you covered. Let the Orphan Life team assist you in planning for your future. Call us today at 221-5143 or visit our website at orfglife.com. Orphan Life Insurance, the life company.
Jackie, let's go for ice cream. And remember, if your mom hear about this, Amy will get her share too. Hey, Jack. How about you and Uncle Jay pair a little game?
No, Uncle, I don't like your games.
Well, that means I'll have to start playing with little Amy then.
No, not Amy. I'll play with you.
That's my baby girl.
Sexual violence against children can cause lifelong harm and suffering, which may often be hidden. Too many survivors of sexual violence are re-victimized, even by the very people who are supposed to love and protect them. The restrictions put into effect during the COVID-19 pandemic made it even more challenging for people to report acts of sexual violence. It is never too late to speak up and to seek help you or a loved one may need. Sexual violence may breed a vicious cycle of domestic violence, and its effects can span generations. Girls who experience sexual violence as children are also at higher risk of staying in situations of domestic violence. Belize will not be safe until its women are safe. Secure Belize.
The redistricting exercise is already underway, and within a year's time, the committee, which has been set up to carry out the daunting task, will be presenting its recommendations to the Elections and Boundaries Commission. The exercise was requested due to disparity in the number of constituents across divisions. The challenge was that there was not true representation in the House. Today, Minister of Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform, Henry Charles Usher, said that with the process, there may be a change in the number of seats in the House.
The Election and Boundaries Commission has appointed a task force of technical persons to look at the redistricting exercise. So that task force will carry out its work starting, well, they've already started, and we should receive a report from them about a year's time. From there, the recommendation will go to the Election and Boundaries Commission. They will then make a recommendation to the National Assembly, and of course, the redistricting, when it's done, it has to be approved in the House.
Could we see the number of seats change?
Certainly, that's an option, that the number of seats might change. Of course, for the seats to go up, then you would need to have the approval in the National Assembly. If it remains the same, I believe that it can be done differently. But the exercise has to go through, and we have to make sure that the technical team does their work. The team includes persons from the Attorney General's Ministry, from the Ministry of Lands, a person who is experienced in statistics, mapping, GPS, those types of expert persons.
So now the aim is to really have all the constituencies have almost the same size in terms of the number of electorates.
The Constitution says that there must be effective representation. It does not say equal representation. Now, effective representation has been defined throughout other jurisdictions. They've had redistricting exercises and court cases in other countries, and judges have pronounced on what it means by effective representation. And certainly you have to look at different factors when it comes to the meaning of the word effective, including population, including transportation, including geography. So there are different factors that are put into place, but what is important is that the constituencies are so made up that each constituency, the persons in those constituencies, receive effective representation.
While with Minister Henry Charles Usher, News 5 asked him about initial information coming out of the redistricting, which would suggest that Fort George, the smallest division, could come to include Key Cocker and St. George's Key.
We have to see what is coming out of the task force before we make a decision in that regard. Certainly I would welcome Key Cocker and St. George's Key. The people out there have been represented well by the Honorable Andre Perez, but Belize Rural South is a growing constituency. San Pedro itself has around 9,000 voters, so it is a very big constituency just on San Pedro, just on Umberris Key. So definitely we will have to look at ways in which we can perhaps, divide the Belize Rural South to make sure that, that you have effective representation.
The performance of the PUP government will be put to the test very soon when village council elections begin. Today, Minister of Local Government, Oscar Requena, shared a possible time frame that his ministry and the Elections and Boundaries Department are considering.
We're looking at possibly May, June, that is the time frame that we are looking at. And certainly we are working very closely with election and boundaries, to ensure that, it's a smooth process.
Is there maybe issues in seeing that happening because they're also doing this redistricting exercise?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. That wouldn't affect, the process.
Prime Minister John Briceño says he is pleased with the outcome of Wednesday's meeting with social partners on the increasing of cost of fuel. Those in attendance were given until today's date to present their ideas, which PM Briceño says he will then take before Cabinet. Here is what he told us earlier today about that meeting.
I was very pleased. I must tell you, I was a bit hesitant because everybody is crying out about the high price of fuel. And my concern was that, they would just go and say, well, almost recklessly say, well, just cut the tax. Everybody understood around the table that the fuel tax plays an important role in the finances of the country, or of the monies that we need. So they were showing some really constructive ideas as to what we can do from using more fuel-efficient vehicles, but also on the fuel. They're seeing on how is it that maybe we could cap the maximum amount of the price that we can, and then keep it at that level. And so when the price goes up, you still keep it there. You take off from the tax, and when the price goes down, then you increase the tax so that government can get back the revenues that they would lose. That was a very good idea. Another idea they were saying is about targeting the assistance, for agriculture, for tourism. Some even saying for the protected areas because they only have limited funds. So there were a lot of different ideas. I asked them to send in their ideas today. We hope to put it together and then go to Cabinet with some concrete ideas as to how we can address the issue of the high price of fuel. As it is, as we pointed out, we have already reduced the tax on diesel by $1.38 even before this meeting. So we are showing the Belizean people that we are trying to do our part. We want to do as best as we possibly can, but we cannot be reckless.
According to Prime Minister Briceño, an increase in bus fares is inevitable because bus owners are operating at a loss. He even fears that several bus operators may shut down if fares are not amended.
The bus owners were there, and what is happening right now? Well, one will be able to cap the price of diesel, so it will hopefully go down a little bit. But more importantly, I think that we have to look at the price structure. As much as we don't want to accept it, the price structure has to change because the bus owners are losing money. And if they can't get a little bit more revenues, they're going to shut down, and then what's going to happen?
Earlier this week, we reported on the daunting statistic that 6 out of every 10 children are living in poverty. Today, the Department of Youth Services, under the Ministry of Youth, shared the results of a National Youth Needs Survey, which was officially launched at the Biltmore. Director Kevin Cadle of the Department of Youth Services shares some of the findings on the state of the youth.
Key areas that came out of the survey, and one of those key areas has to do with health care. Young people need more access to health care, especially psychosocial care. They're saying that one of their major challenges is needing someone to talk to. They also believe that they're not getting the support from their families, which is significant. Another area is education. Young people are saying that they need access to more educational opportunities, that they believe that in terms of tertiary education and even the IT vets, that they do not have the support to be able to go there, and they would want that opportunity to be able to go to school, and that is a significant one again. Another one is the issue of crime and violence, and not just crime and violence, but young people are saying, specifically females are saying, that they're victims of major crimes such as robberies and sexual abuse. That is huge for us to know that we have situations whereby our females especially are being targeted with rape, with sexual abuse, and also being robbed. So we need to look at that and to speak with our colleagues in the department, police department and home affairs to see what we can do to be able to mitigate some of those situations. In the area, another big area is land, housing and land. Young people are saying that they cannot afford the cost to rent homes, to rent rooms, and they're saying, especially in the rural areas, that they need access to land. They need land and they need opportunities for land. And finally, another area that is significant is the issue of their socio-economic situation. They believe that they are living in poverty. Most young people are saying that they're not doing pretty well in their lives and that they need opportunities to be able to uplift their lives. They're also saying that they need opportunities for job training, more skills-based training to be able to better be prepared for the world of work.
The survey was completed under the leadership of Minister Rodwell Ferguson, but began even before when the now Minister of Health and Wellness had the portfolio for the Ministry of Youth. Today's launch is the fruition of dedication and hard work and an investment of $2 million into the ministry that will further assist with the rollout of various programs.
I'm here as the former minister to offer my full support and to continue the commitment in showing that we should address our youth in this country, and we need to make sure that the resources that are given and provided to the ministry is adequate enough. As the Prime Minister pointed out, recently Cabinet has approved that we give the Department of Youth Service, the Ministry of Youth, another additional $2 million. And while that is good enough, there's still much more that we will need, the ministry needs to be able to cover the whole work that has to be carried out across this country.
I got about 40 people of intellectual background that we are in a conversation every week to come up with the best possible plan and the best possible approach. So hopefully within a month, we will launch it to make the nation know what we are doing for young people in this country.
After the break, the newest senator makes her appearance in the House today. Here's Senator Janelle Chanona's contribution when we come back. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
March is Women's Month, and at Brothers Sabet, we're celebrating our Belizean women and their achievements all month long. Women are too often overlooked in typically male-dominated fields, but we want to celebrate the capable ladies who are breaking the bias across the board. From the women at home tackling their own home improvements to our women builders behind new and exciting projects. We want to recognize your power and thank you for all your contributions to Belize. And as a small token of our appreciation, for the entire month of March, we're offering all women 15% off on all items in store so you can keep breaking glass ceilings with high quality products from Brothers Sabet. It's a great month to be a woman and a great time to come into Brothers Sabet and check us out for all your hardware needs. Happy Women's Month, Belize, and let's continue to break the bias.
The month of March is Women's History Month, and this is what the dynamic team at the Uno gas stations had to say.
Personally, I believe it's a month to highlight our strength and resilience.
A month that highlights the accomplishment of all the women around the world.
It means something very special to me because of all my hard work and dedication, and I feel very highlighted.
It's a month to honor all the hardworking and dedicated women around the world.
My mom.
My mom, of course.
My mother.
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
My name is Kenrick, and I live in Belize City, and I am employed as an agent for a company that does reservations for hotels from all over the world. Since amputation, my life has changed minimally. Yes, I don't have my legs to get around, but I have always been an active person. So I do things a little bit more deliberate, a little bit more slower maybe, but I still get it done. Let's say they say we're going to some restaurant, wherever. I need to call and say, do you have access for a wheelchair? And they say, yes, of course. Then I would ask the second question, can I get into your restroom with a wheelchair? And then 99% of the time they'll say no. I would like to encourage everybody who has a disability to not give up. Never, 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 ever give up.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Keep your business running efficiently with computer products and accessories from Cellular World. We are the largest electronics stores in Belize, providing business solutions from trusted brands including Dell, HP, Lenovo, and Samsung, just to name a few. Our range of business PCs and electronics include desktop computers, laptops, desktop monitors, mouses, battery backups, smart TVs, and computer accessories that are backed up by warranties to keep your business always running smoothly. Call or visit us at any of our 5 Cellular World locations in Belize City, Belmopan, or San Pedro, and let our knowledgeable team help you to find the right solutions. Cellular World, low prices, more choices.
La Unidad de Energía del Ministerio de Servicios Públicos, Energía, Logística y E-Gobernanza realizarán una encuesta nacional sobre el uso de la energía del 2 de febrero al 20 de mayo de 2022. La encuesta abarcará todos los sectores económicos de Belice y la información recolectada será usada para apoyar políticas energéticas y ayudar a planificar un futuro sostenible para el sector energético de Belice. Si su hogar ha sido seleccionado, un encuestador visitará su casa con una identificación. Las empresas recibirán un cuestionario en línea para completar. En ambos casos, el Ministerio solicita su amable colaboración. Esta encuesta está financiada por una subvención del Fondo Mundial para el Medio Ambiente, por medio del Banco Mundial como organismo ejecutor del proyecto, dentro del Proyecto de Resiliencia Energética para la Adaptación al Clima.
The Briceño administration read through a supplementary appropriation bill on Tuesday to retroactively approve the disbursement of $1.5 million to the Christian Workers Union. Those monies are from the public purse and were earmarked for the compensation of stevedores for the privatization of the port in 2002. While the funds are mired in legal controversy and an injunction remains in place until the Supreme Court can decide on the matter involving its disbursement to the CWU's members, the present government is being criticized. That's because the Finance and Audit Reform Act is being called to question and whether or not that piece of legislation is being flouted. Kicking off a spirited debate in the upper house this morning was Senator Michael Parafit.
Madam President, I was expecting, from Senator Courtney that he would introduce this bill with an apology. The last time when we debated the last appropriation bill, he said you will hear the lawbreakers from over there. And he made certain pronouncements.
Senator Michael Parafit,
I'll tie it in, Madam
come
President.
to the content of the bill.
I'll tie it in, Madam President. It's all related. It's all related. Because they're doing here exactly what they criticized us for.
Again, Senator Michael Parafit, can we stick to the content of the bill?
Madam President, I'm sticking to the contents of the bill.
Can we so do?
Yes, Madam President. With due respect and without deference to you, I certainly won't punch a wall and blame the police. But with due respect, Madam President, I think whenever we discuss a bill, there's always the build-up discussion that would lead to the overall concept of what this is. We see what the government is doing. We have to debate about what they're doing here. What they're doing here is coming to the Honorable Senate to provide for monies that have already been pledged.
Senator Michael Perfeet, please be mindful of Section 2, and I bring it to your attention. You make mention that it is an expectation, which is so, that there would be leading up to the bill, but this is no ordinary bill. This bill is here, and we wish to focus solely on the content simply because it cannot be said in this honorable chamber that anything can give the slightest indication of something that can unravel that is likely to be used by any of the parties in the court to support or undermine their case from either side.
The issue of whether the content of that debate is in fact harmful to the ongoing Stevedore payment case before the High Court was also raised, particularly by the President of the Senate. In responding to that concern, Opposition Senator Michael Perfeet pointed to the issue of accountability, since the monies are being drawn from government's coffers.
I am very aware that what I'm about to say will in no way cause any prejudicial effect to the court proceeding concerning this appropriation. And Madam President, if the government was so sensitive about pronouncements in Parliament concerning this appropriation, then maybe they should not have brought it. Since they want to respect the court so much and respect the process so much, then delay this until the court has completed its process. If you really care about not making any pronouncements in the National Assembly that will affect the case, it's simple. Withdraw it. Withdraw it. And then there can be no debate on it and no risk of anybody saying anything that would upset the court. Madam President, I understand the standing order very well. I tried to enforce it very well when I was Speaker of the House. Madam President, I'm aware of it. But Madam President, we have a job in here too. And with due respect to the court, I can assure you I will say nothing that could in any way be prejudicial to the court proceedings. But Madam President, the government will not come here and ask the people to put $1.5 million in the hands of the Stevedores, and we are not to debate on that at all.
And that's where the debate got somewhat intense. Lead Government Senator Eamon Courtney rose on a point of order, during which he referred to a section of the standing orders pertinent to what was being argued. What's interesting is that the Belize National Teachers Union has been a supporter of the CWU, where the monies in question are concerned, and has pulled its accounts from the Belize Bank Limited. This morning in the Upper House, Senator Elena Smith, who represents the trade unions in Parliament, reminded government of the importance of the Finance and Audit Reform Act.
The one thing Senator Perfeet will learn is that try as much as he will never ever be able to tell me what to do or when to do it. Madam President, I rise to bring to the attention of the Senate Standing Order 84. Standing Order 84 says the general authority of the President. The President shall have power to regulate the conduct of business in all matters not provided for in these standing orders.
We believe that the stevedores are deserving. And so we have no issue in terms of this matter being addressed. I believe we maybe when there was the thought of privatization of the port, we probably weren't thinking this far, and we weren't expecting some of...
Senator, bring it to the bill and the content of the bill.
I'll do that, Madam President. But I'm just trying to point out that we didn't look that far down the road, and so we are here now having to to approve 1.5 million. And while some may say that that's a lot, it's a huge amount, it may not be deserving. We believe that it's more than deserving because it will not cover what these stevedores will have to endure going forward. And so I listened, Madam President, just a bit of what was said in the House. And I know that there were some concerns when the matter was raised of, the government abiding by Finance and Audit Reform Act. As unions who have always worked to ensure that government is accountable and government does what is right, despite the fact that we support, we have to remind government that it ought to ensure that it abides by these acts and do things when they are supposed to be done and not have to come after the fact.
Today's special sitting of the Senate, hard on the heels of Tuesday's House meeting to present the budget for the 2022 fiscal year, was Janelle Chanona's maiden appearance as senator for the NGO community. Her seat as the 13th senator gave rise to the backing of an amendment that deals with Belize's fisheries. Aside from her new office as a parliamentarian, Chanona is also the vice president of Oceana Belize and has been an advocate for the enforcement of fisheries regulation.
We rise in support of the amendments, but also to emphasize it's not just about safeguarding the resources themselves, but also the livelihoods of those who depend on those resources. I cannot tell you enough how often we've heard from the fishers, licensed Belizean fishers, lamenting that there is not enough being done to make sure that illegal activity is deterred. We've just come off Reef Week, an annual week to celebrate and champion as well as highlight the obstacles facing our natural resources, and illegal fishing and legal activity on our waters featured prominently. So alongside that though, we do call out that in those discussions, and it's been a perennial issue, it has been flagged that having the law is where we need to start, but as we've just heard earlier, having the resources to enforce that law and to make sure that that capacity is there is also very real. We continue to be confronted in the sector with having rising fuel prices. We continue to be confronted with slashed government budgets as cost-saving efforts to government agencies, donor communities telling our Belizean NGOs that they will not be able to fund fuel. So alongside support for this law, we also call out the continued importance of making sure that clear and present, we're also assisting at every juncture, every opportunity, the resources to make sure that the natural capital of this country is being protected and safeguarded, not just for the benefit of those resources themselves, but for the tens of thousands of Belizeans who depend on those resources.
Just ahead, will there be a quick end to the COVID restrictions? We will have the target date for the lifting of many of them when we return. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
forest firefighters. Some days, we joke around while we work. Other days, we put our life on the line. Mother Nature can be cruel, with intense heat that burns our forest. But there are many times when human carelessness is to blame. We've seen it all. Poor use of fire to clear land, maybe for farming, burning garbage, or illegal burning for hunting animals, leaving campsites without properly outing campfires, to people disposing cigarettes where they shouldn't. One small spark can lead to an enormous wildfire. Our job can be dangerous, but we take the risk to help protect our forest and wildlife. In turn, this helps protect our way of life as citizens of Belize. We help to ensure access to clean air and water, securing jobs helping the timber and tourism industry. You can do your part. Always obey the laws regarding fires and be fire-wise. Learn how to prevent, prepare, and protect yourself and our forest by calling the Forest Department at 822-1524 or find us on Facebook.
Smart broadband coverage now expanding down south. Customers in Monkey River, San Roman, Santa Rosa, Bladen, and San Pedro, Colombia can now enjoy reliable speeds at affordable prices to live a smarter life.
My name is Elma Cowell. I live in the beautiful village of San Miguel. I use smart internet to watch movies and also communicating with my family in San Antonio. We also have a recording studio and we need to send huge files to clients using smart internet.
My name is Danet Young and I live in Monkey River Village. Monkey River didn't have internet before. Now we got smart internet in November of 2021 and the speed is very good with smart.
Save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
While across the country has been buzzing with activity, the COVID-19 pandemic is still a very live issue and continues to affect persons with underlying conditions. But overall, as expected, the number of cases has decreased, and today, Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard gave an update on the COVID-19 status in Belize.
Glad that the numbers have been keeping going down. We're seeing that I had already mentioned before that by the end of March, we would have seen us going back pre-Omicron levels. We are at that stage, and we are hoping that this could remain this way. I just want to keep on encouraging others, though, for those who have not yet been vaccinated, to go out and get vaccinated. The more people vaccinate, the better it is for us as a country.
Come April 1st, all COVID-19 restrictions, which over the past 2 years have seen numerous phases of lockdown, will be wiped. Not completely, because there will still be requirements at border crossing points and the use of masks. But in the next 14 days, nightclubs, bars, and other establishments will be open for business. Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard says that the country can finally go back to pre-COVID activities, but warns that residents must still exercise care.
There will still be a few restrictions that will require vaccinated people to leave the country, that will require only vaccinated people to attend major events like concerts and so forth, that will require the wearing of the mask for indoors activities. Like I have said, I wear my mask even outdoor because it is up to me. And I want to encourage people, if you feel uncomfortable and not safe, then wear a mask. So there are going to continue to be certain restrictions, but the easing of other things like the nightclubs and so forth, those will definitely be open come April 1st.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is monitoring the Delta Cron. a hybrid variant of Delta and Omicron that has been causing a spike in the United Kingdom and elsewhere. With Belize's tourism activity, it is only a matter of time before this strain makes its way to Belize, so GOB remains vigilant. Minister Kevin Bernard warns that if numbers begin to spike, restrictions will once again be imposed.
As you know, we have opened up for tourism. One person coming into the country, but they call it Delta Cron, and we are going to see another issue. We are prepared to make, I had said this before, while we were easing restrictions, if we see that there is an increase in spike, the Ministry of Health will make its recommendation to Cabinet to put back some of these restrictions. So it's not that we are just opening up, but we are also making sure that we are keeping our eyes and watch on what is happening around us. So we have to also understand this, that we may likely come back to you in 2 months, 3 months and say, you know what, we have to do certain things. Yeah. So I just want Belizean people to understand that it is up to us to prevent the spread of this virus. Whatever happens, we must do our part to be responsible, do everything that is listed out in terms of the protocols, and continue to be safe, continue to keep your distance, continue to wear your mask if you need to, wash your hands regularly, and avoid crowding.
Minister Kevin Bernard made an appeal to those who have not been vaccinated to do so. As it currently stands, almost 70% of the target population, 12 years and older, have been vaccinated, and 50% of the overall population have been inoculated. And until pediatric vaccines become available for children below the age of 12, Minister Bernard says that the ministry will be engaged in a new vaccination strategy. He likened the process to an election campaign.
Whenever we get the pediatric vaccines for the younger children, we are going to go aggressively at the schools, at the homes, in the communities, on the ground to get people vaccinated.
Sir, speaking about vaccination numbers, I know since January the numbers have remained stagnant with very few growth. What's the ministry's plan to revamp their vaccination campaign?
One of the things, like I said, as you know, we had set up testing sites and vaccine sites. So we are going to utilize those same individuals because we have to move out these vaccine sites and take them back and we're going to go into the communities. We are going to take this as if this is a political campaign. Get people on the ground, get people in the homes, talk to residents, and to try and convince those who have not been vaccinated to get vaccinated.
With an ease from working around the clock in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Health will be turning its efforts to other health issues, such as mental health.
At the ministry, like I said, COVID had taken the forefront of many of the issues, but we are also aggressively now engaged in many other areas. Mental health is a critical issue that we want to target. Nutrition is another area that we're focusing on, but we cannot lose sight that COVID is still around. It's not going to go anywhere right now, and it all depends on how we do it, how we and me and you and others protect ourselves from the spread of this virus.
Here is an employment opportunity where you might get hired on the spot. It's the Office Gurus Open Day in Belmopan this weekend. The business process outsourcing company, BPO, is looking to expand its team. Today we spoke with several managers of the Belmopan branch about Saturday's job fair and what job seekers can expect.
My name is Shatan Lisby. I'm the supervisor and I'll be doing the interview with you today. So Benjamin, tell me a little bit about yourself. What is one of your weaknesses?
Miguel? Tacos?
And this is exactly why we didn't hire you in San Ignacio. Remember guys, don't be like Benjamin. When you come to our open house interviews, come prepared. Do some practice with your family. Also, bring your documents, your resume, your valid social security, and if you have a second form of identification, even better. Our open house is Saturday, March 19th. Come and see us.
One of the things we do when we speak to our candidates is we do want to hear if based on the account that we're looking for, if what they can work or what they can do actually meets the profile. We have friendly conversations with them. We provide all the details that they do need to know, and we have it more in a setting where they're able to take the information we provide, look at their personal situation, and see if it's something that they can actually integrate and be consistent with. So the questions are not questions they should be scared of. It's questions that they would probably be asked if they're writing it down on a paper or something of that sort. And it's just qualifying questions just to make sure that all the boxes are thick.
If you're someone who is in need of a job and you're looking for a type of environment that is not going to treat you like a next employee, but rather family, and look out for your best interests, and kind of contribute towards what you're looking for in terms of expanding on your career path, expanding on your skills that you already bring to the table, then definitely Office Gurus is the place to go to.
It is no secret that the BPO sector contributes to a high percentage of employment in Belize. Jacqueline Canole, Human Resource Manager, says the company takes pride in treating its call center employees as valuable members of a team who have the potential for long-term professional development.
We are very proud to be here today simply because we are not maybe known countrywide, but more in the western part of Belize. However, when it comes to employment, we have more than 1,300 employees scattered all over the country. And one of the grand things that also impacts and benefits us as well is that we hire a lot of millennials and centennials, and they bring in a lot of energy. Many of them, because of the unemployment rate in Belize, which, you know, it's a little bit high, they feel and that no one is going to care for them. But here the Office Gurus is, and we do take part in that. You are let's say a millennial or a centennial and you have absolutely no call center experience. Well, come on to the Office Gurus. We're going to help you. We're going to give you all the resources that you need, and we're going to mold you, and we're going to take you to that next level. A lot of our employees, they come here, they wanted only a summer job or a part-time job, and now they're supervisors and managers.
Again, the Office Gurus open house will run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at their Belmopan branch. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 19th. Up next, this week's Bright Side goes to the brewery. Meet a young woman blending science and good taste when we return.
Do people actually hear from God? Are there really angels and demons? Okay, now that's just unbelievable. In our next series, we're going beyond the Google search and facing the tough questions. It's time to take on the skeptic and eliminate the doubt. From inconceivable to unimaginable, we're talking about the Bible's most unbelievable truths. Every second of this series will be worth your while. Believe it or not.
In these trying times, Smart is here to lessen the burden. Smart's reduced roaming rates save you while traveling. Calls back home are a low 35 cents per minute when visiting Canada, the US, and Mexico, or pay as low as 50 cents for calls when visiting countries in the Caribbean, Central, and South America. For the month of February and March, enjoy an unbelievable low rate of 30 cents per megabyte when roaming with mobile data in Canada, the US, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Whether you are a business traveler, studying abroad, visiting loved ones, or just traveling for pleasure, Smart's new roaming rates have got you covered. Roaming in China, Europe, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean is as low as the cost of making a local call. It's that low. Smart's roaming coverage continues to grow, so you can also enjoy affordable roaming rates in several destinations across the globe. For more information on rates to other countries, visit our website or call 1090 for more details before you travel. Smart, bringing people together.
Messi. Off goal, what a goal from Leo Messi. What an incredible strike from Leo Messi. Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
On tonight's Bright Side, we bring you the story of a young woman who is making her mark in Belize's beer industry. That's right. Karina Kal is Belize's first female brewer, and she is setting her sights on becoming a brew master. But in the meantime, she loves the product she is producing, and no doubt, so do many of our viewers. Here's my interview with Karina at the Pilot Brew House. To an ordinary consumer, this looks like a fresh pour of a tasty alcoholic beverage. But for this staffer of the brewery, it's all about the science behind the making of the beer. The oxidization, the presence of yeast, the darkness of the beer. These are the things Karina Kal, the first female brewer in Belize, is focused on.
I often tell people that my dream job and my dream occupation change, it was always in the science field. At first I wanted to be a doctor, then a veterinarian, and then I work in a laboratory and wearing that lab coat, and and every time my dream changed, it was in the science field.
Freshly graduated at the age of 18, Karina landed her first job at the largest brewing company in Belize. She spent 6 years as a laboratory technician and then moved up to supervisor, a test to her leadership and capabilities. But the biggest offer was yet to come.
Working all those years and realizing the importance of microbiology and the chemical aspect of a beer made me appreciate the beer even more. And when I was challenged to work at this side, then I was a bit afraid at first, but I challenged it, and now I'm here, and I've been doing it for almost a year, and it has been a really good experience. So in the laboratory, I was responsible of only the analytical and chemical testing, microbiology of the beer itself. But over here at this side, I get to make the beer and also do quality control of the beer. So it's a lot more responsibility, and I mean, there are consumers that come here every day that taste our 2.5 beers, and you have to ensure that the beer has the quality that we want to provide to our customers.
The 2.5 beer is a Belican craft line that plays on the Belizean phrase 2.5, meaning close friend. Tell me about this one. I see pepper there.
Yeah, I was born in PG, so I have a lot of family members there. And I remember seeing my grandmom roasting the peppers and grinding the peppers. So it is something that has a close relationship to me because I get the pepper from down south and I roast it myself. And then we grind it here and then we add it during the brew.
I don't know if I'm smelling the pepper, but I do smell something that it doesn't exactly smell like beer. Yeah. And I can't quite figure it out.
Something roasted, like coffee.
Yeah, something roasted. Yeah. Okay.
It's a role that not only requires the smarts and creativity, but also strength.
The job of a brewer involves a lot of physical work. It involves lifting sacks of malt, 50 pounds or sometimes a little bit more. It involves a lot of lifting, connecting hoses, carrying hoses, etc. But because of the physical work and doing all of the things that were firstly only done by men, then I feel like I am breaking the bias and making people realize that women can work in the field as well, and women can do that type of work. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter your physical capabilities, but also the what's in here. And you know, and I always tell people I try to work smart and not hard. I feel very fortunate and I feel very blessed to have to hold a post like that for the first time in Belize, and for the company that I work for. I feel that all of the hard work that I have been doing for the 7 years working here has been paying off, and it just goes to show that working hard gets you places, and dedicating your time and your energy at your job and do it to the best of your abilities really pays off in the end. This one has 3 Belizean ingredients that just combine together and just give a really
fever
good.
grass, grapefruit juice,
and Belizean coriander seeds.
And from concept to yeast propagation, the brewing of 2.5 beer is prepared for consumers. Corina is the woman behind its taste.
Looking on the bright side of Women's Month.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
Cal told News 5 she intends to further her studies in brewing technology and hopes to one day earn the title of brewmaster. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.